All right. Well, hey, coaches, Up for Change. It's Dee Corchin, and I'm glad to be with you Monday, June 12th. And we've got a lot we're going to talk about tonight. But before we move forward, just wanted to go back and take one step back to thank Meg for all she did last week while I was gone on vacation. But I know that last week we talked about the incentive, the cruise that is coming up. So put a one in the chat if you're excited about qualifying for that cruise, because if you've never been on an incentive trip before, it is quite the experience. And it's something we have to earn, but it's something that's really, really and fun. And honestly, 5 different paths, but there's so much opportunity for each one of us to be on that ship. So what I wanted to let you know is that path one, which is anybody who was director level or below, and even brand new coaches, have a really huge opportunity to qualify. And what we're going to do is this Wednesday night, June 14th at 8:30 p.m., we're going to have Eddie Alvarenga on with us for anybody who is in that path one qualification. And we're going to do a special presentation for you with some tools to show you how achievable it could be, because all about this achievement is when you see it as possible, and then you can see a game plan. That's how we can make it all come together, and we want to do that with you. So we're going to start this with path one, path two, path three, path four. The numbers get smaller, and we're definitely going to be working one-on-one with you, but we might do a separate meeting for those groups as well. But go ahead, and I would encourage you to be on, even if you're not in path one, if you have coaches on your team fall into path one, or you think you'll be adding coaches that could qualify, be on it so that you understand what is going on. So that we're super excited about. And so Wednesday, 8:30 p.m., path one qualifiers. It'll be in this Team Time Zoom. I will also send an email to everybody who qualifies for that and let you know that you're invited. But the second thing is, before we launch into our topic tonight on becoming a transformational coach, what I wanted to share is about Optavia's new movement, Optavia Active, which is our healthy motion initiative. We've talked about that. It's been sort of a whisper campaign, but we've got more information that I want to share with you, because what this does is it gives us the opportunity right now to be preparing ourselves to start gently spreading the word about this, and also making plans how you're going to be a part of it so that you can actively be able to promote this well. So I'm going to share my screen, few slides that were shared from our most recent leadership meeting. So these are just screenshots, and I'm not going to share all of them, just really going to share what I think is most applicable for right now, and then tell you how you're going to get your training for this and why you're going to want to be a part of that. So if you're not aware, hopefully you guys can see my screen right now, but somebody, I just lost you guys. If you cannot see my screen, maybe somebody just come off mute and let me know if you cannot see it.
We can see it.
Okay, thank you, Shauna. So the Optavia Active Plan, what this is designed to do, you guys, is help our clients, those that need weight loss, those that are in maintenance, but those that want to incorporate healthy movement and healthy motion into their daily lives, which is something that we as health program want to promote. And what we're going to be able to do is have a new portfolio of products to be able to support people wherever they are in their journey, to be able to provide the tools and the products to be able to support their body the best as they're incorporating healthy motion. So the first is going to be the rollout of what's called EAAs, which are essential amino acids. It's a that will be used in addition to somebody's eating plan, which is they're part of a branch chain aminos. And what this does is it really protects and supports muscle recovery as well as muscle development. So these are going to be 2 products that will be added into our portfolio that you would add on to a client's order. And they come in 2 flavors, which is going to be strawberry lemonade and orange mango. We're going to get a lot more training on how these products work in the body. You'll talk about them, incorporate them in with your clients. But this is just something fun that's going to be coming, and that you're going to actually have the opportunity to order in advance, or get your hands on in advance. The second thing is that there is going to be a separate whey protein product available. So a whey protein powder that provides more protein than our current Optavia shakes, with a really good calorie count and a low carbohydrate count of only 2 carbs with it. It comes in chocolate and this particular product will only be available for those that are in optimization. So those are going to be people that have already reached their goal weight. They're on the 3 and 3. This, along with the amino acids, would be added into their program. So basically 4 new things that we'll be able to offer: the 2 amino acid flavors and then the 2 whey protein powder offers. The way this is going to shake out is there are, like I said, there's going to be the different plans that we can use these on with the supplementation. And then the other thing that we're going to offer with it is also a digital exercise platform called Active, which a person will be able to sign up for. It's a partnership that Optavia has with this company, very similar to like a Peloton app or any kind of app. They've got over 7,000 workouts on it. So you as a coach will not be actually designing workout programs or telling people what to do, but they can actually utilize and subscribe to this Motion app and be able to get their own programs if they don't have something already else in place. So the reason we're talking about this now, and it's exciting, is because it's going to roll out to the public in September. So September is the time frame. It rolls out to us at convention. So it is going to be critical that you are at convention for 2 reasons. Number one, that is where the most in-depth training is going to take place. We're going to have the scientists there who developed it, all of that, so that you can have the most thorough understanding. You're also going to be able to purchase the products at convention. So what the goal is that we will be able to utilize this. We'll have from convention until September that you'll be able to be incorporating this into your healthy motion, so that you'll have your own story to be able to share with it once we're ready to roll it out. So who's excited for that, right? Is that good? And if you've been on the fence about going to convention, this is your reason to be there, because this is where the latest information, training, and technology is going to be announced. So it is huge. I love your comments. Huge. So we'll continue to share more as we know more. Right now, really 2 things for you to be doing. Number one, focusing on your own nutrition, getting to your own personal healthy weight. That's going to be your best thing to be working on from now until convention. There's just so many reasons to do that. But second is if healthy motion is not part of your normal routine, start to think about what will you begin to incorporate, right? And this is going to be perfect because you're going to be able to use your story to inspire others down the road. So that's what I've got. Meg, I'm going to turn it over to you for the start of our true training for tonight.
Absolutely. So I'm excited tonight to talk about how to become a transformational coach. And I feel like it's one of those words, transformational, that we use in Optavia that can get a little bit like jargon. So if you would put in the chat, what does transformation look like to you? Like, what does that mean to you? So put it in the chat. We'd all love to know. When I think of transformation, I think about a butterfly, right? Who starts off like the little caterpillar, who eats all the things, right? And goes through this beautiful metamorphosis into a butterfly, right? And so when I think about Optavia and what we do as coaches, we do a lot of transactions, right? Like signing a client up or finding the client or supporting the client. Those are all transactions. And all of those transactions are really important. It's kind of like the caterpillar eating the food, right? Or whatever it's doing to become the butterfly. But then there's this whole other layer, which is the transformation, right? And so that's the skills that are so hard to articulate, because it's really like the meat of who you are and how you talk to your clients and how you cast vision and understand what they want and why that matters to them. And so Really, we know the best coaches in Optavia are great transactional coaches and also great transformational coaches, right? They have a mixture of the two. And so tonight we're going to talk about how to build rapport. And there's one really great way to do this. And Jamil Frazier talks about it. He talks about it like eating the frog. So with a frog, F-R-O-G, it stands for family, recreation, occupation, and goals. Family, recreation, occupation, and goals. So as you are relating to your clients or potential clients, it's important to get to know them, to find out what they want and why that's going to matter to them, or why this program would be good for them. You know, and to try as much as you can to not put all the things that you think are true about them, right? We all have those preconceived notions. So to try to kick those out of the window and really find out, what do you know about them and what do they actually want? I was talking to a coach today who was like, well, I don't know if somebody would want to earn the cruise, they could probably create their own. And she said, actually, I don't actually know that. And so it created this great conversation. We don't know what we don't know. So let's have fun getting to know people and what it is that they want and awaken them to what's possible. This skill of building rapport is so important because it is really what awakens to people to what's possible and awakens to people to what you want them to do. So this comes into play with potential clients or even potential referral partners. Maybe you're in a group and it's not even a networking group, but letting that group know, hey, I am passionate about helping other people change their life through their health. And so if they have friends and family who talk about health or health comes up, you would love for them to think of you and to share your contact information. So building that rapport can come into play with potential clients, current clients, as you're working on that relationship. It is really important with coaches as you create that relationship and build that trust. So this is a skill that just makes such a big difference. But Dee, I know that sometimes people put a wall up, right? And we've all been there. You're the queen of bringing that wall down. Would you share some of your tips with us?
Well, I love the words that, thank you, Meg, and that were in the comment, what you guys said about becoming, what is a transformational coach? And somebody said, moving from weight loss to helping people dream again. And I think that sums it up so well. And I think the first thing I'm going to say is really start to adopt, if you haven't been there, adopt that mindset that you are the catalyst for somebody else's change, because people don't know what they don't know. Right. And so it's up to us to start to get to know them, build that rapport, ask the questions, and start to open their eyes and awaken. And an awakening can take time. It's like the best analogy I ever heard on this is like, if you've got teenagers, and if you've ever raised teenagers, the worst thing to do, or even a toddler, would be to go into their room and shout at them, right? Shout at them and shake them to awaken, right? Get up, right? Like that's just a frenzy. People push you away, etc. So an awakening is a gentle awakening. So it's a conversation, it's questions. And what we're offering at Optavia is not necessarily what people are used to. Right? They've come into it with one mindset, like, hey, I don't really need you. I'm just going to do this program. Right. And so we've got to realize that what we're doing is starting to shift somebody's paradigm. So my number one thing is, if you're getting some resistance as you're starting to ask questions, or it just feels cold to you, one is just to have patience. Have patience through the process and maybe tap into some of your own pain or your own story. That was a real game changer for me, is when I put my eyes on other people, but tapped into my own feelings. I was able to ask questions to say something like, well, you're kind of quiet today. Like, it sounds like maybe you've had a hard day, you know, or something like that, and just see if you can get them to open up. But the best thing to do is to ask open-ended questions. Not, did you have a good week? You know, like, what was the best thing about your week? Or what are you looking forward to this summer? Something that really, you know, encourages somebody to open up and answer for it. But be patient through it and just realize it's going to take time. Some people will never open up, but most people want to feel that connection. It's a human desire we all have. So just continue to work with them through that process. And I'm sure some of our speakers coming up will be able to share some more as well. But Meg, you want me to run on over to that, or did you have something else to share?
Great.
Okay, well, cool. Well, we wanted to have really two people speak tonight, because building rapport really begins at the beginning, with the health assessment with somebody, really starting to cast a vision with them. And somebody who is awesome at this is Lauren Yeoman. So Lauren, wanted to have you come on for a few minutes and share with the group.
Yes. And hi, I am single mom in it tonight. So bear with me. But yeah, so Meg kind of asked me to talk about from the beginning with the health assessment. And I think that it's just really about listening to understand. And I think that Rosalie, I need you to be quiet. I think that there's so many incredible questions on the health assessment that dig deep into their life. And I think definitely like our own vulnerability helps them to be vulnerable as well. But just really helping them to cast a bigger vision than maybe they have for themselves. Because I know many of us can connect to where we were before we started on the program, and really having skepticism or feeling scared or having fear or feeling like, well, this works for everybody else, but it's not going to work for me. And so really being able to ask great questions to help them to see bigger, to help them to dream. And I think it's so similar to what we're doing on a Coach Explore and what we're doing on Coach Mentorship calls, is just really making it about them and what do they want. And I think just, wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't it be cool if, and helping them fill in the blanks. And I think something that I love to do with my clients and with my coaches is really help them to paint a picture. So of, okay, well, how is that going to feel? How is that, what do you see with reaching that goal, whether it's in their health or in their coaching? What would that feel like if you didn't have to work full time? If you could have more time at home with your babies, like, what would that feel like? What would you be able to do that maybe you feel held back from now? Or like, wow, 50 pounds, that's incredible. What is that going to feel like? What dress do you have in your closet that you're dying to wear that you could pull out and wear on a date with your husband, being 50 pounds less? Or, what could you do with your children that maybe you don't feel like you can do right now? And so just really getting into their world and finding out what is important to them, what drives them, what motivates them. And like I said, that's applicable to both our clients and to our coaches. And then I think, I love to think about how we're really a dream defender. And so I was hoping to have my children down, but didn't happen. So how we're really there to defend the dreams of our clients and our coaches. Because sometimes even ourselves, we can lose sight of that. So I better move it along, girls. You say hi? Hi. Okay. Thank you guys for asking me to share.
That's awesome. Way to live the integrated life, Lauren. That's great. I love that, what you just said, that dream defender. And I think that's why it is so important, you guys, when we talk about doing the health assessment, to dig deeper with people, right? To get to those dreams. It's so much more beyond losing 20 pounds. Right. It is, what is that going to do for us? And I know, Lauren, you've always been masterful at even getting people to start to think about coaching, even in the first health assessment. So thank you for that. So Meg, did you want to introduce our next speaker?
Yeah, Lucy also is another person that is great at just building rapport. And she is incredible at getting her clients on the client calls. So many of them show up. So Lucy, we'd love to know your tips and traits. Like how do you do that? How do you build that rapport so well?
Number one, I think from the beginning, just a lot of what Lauren said, it begins with the health assessment for me. My health assessments, even though I do the job form, I'm taking notes. It looks crazy. It's messy. Because what I like to take notes of is the things that really doesn't even have anything to do with their health. Something that will stand out to me that I can, relate to them on something. Whether is they are a grandparent like myself, whether they are have someone in sports, I can relate that to my children who play sports. I just find something to where I can connect with them on. And then that's where it starts. It may start with something as simple as that, or it could be something where they're a middle child and they say something like, I always felt like I wasn't seen. And me being a middle child as well, I could relate to that. And I'll just make a note of it. And when we continue to have our conversations as we're having our weekly times together, I'll ask them different things that may point them back to something that they said at the beginning. And I keep kind of weaving a little bit at a time through each conversation until that trust is built, because I think that's important. I do share about myself. I do open up and share, not too much to where they're overwhelmed, because I think there is a balance in that, because I do keep my share about a minute or less about myself, but it's a balance of knowing just how much to give when, and that comes with practice, honestly. Part of my past occupation as a relationship manager, that's what I would do. And I have a ability to honestly remember things about people. I don't take a lot of notes on week to week with my client calls, but I remember a lot. And so I'll bring up in our conversations, like I said, each week as I'm interweaving different things about them. And then when that timing is right, if they may say something where they're maybe doubting something about themselves, or they may be feeling a little bit low about where they are in their journey, then I'll bring up something from our conversations. And that helps them to know, number one, that I'm listening to them, that is, I really care about them. And I think that that's important. And then I'll ask them again, kind of piggybacking to what Lauren said, how would it feel if? How will it feel when? What do you want to have? How do you want to feel? And wouldn't it be? And I got a lot of this, honestly, from Lauren. How would it feel when? How would it feel if? What would you wear? Close your eyes and imagine yourself. If they say they want to be able to fly again and be on a plane and not have to have the extender, close your eyes and how would that feel? And that's what I do. And I really want my clients to feel like I see them, I hear them, and that I'm their friend more than anything, that I don't just care about their health and them getting to being my client. I want them to know and understand that I am their friend. And so that's what I have.
Thank you, Lucy. So good. And I think those powerful words of helping somebody feel seen, heard, understood. And then I also I'm hoping people caught what Lucy said when Lucy said, well, I kind of got this from Lauren, right? Like, so it wasn't like, I don't want you to look at anybody else and think, well, they just have a gift. Like they're able to ask questions like that. I can't. This is something that we can all learn how to do. Right? We can all learn how to do it. And so we wanted to give a couple of resources before we go to our next speaker. There's really 3 books that I would recommend that just put them on your list if you haven't read them yet, or maybe pull them back out. But one of them is by Stephen Covey. It's called The Speed of Trust. And that one is amazing. Order it off Amazon, but really how to build connection and trust with somebody quickly. The second is kind of related to what I was saying before, was about asking questions, and it's called Change Your Questions, Change Your Life. So how to start asking more thought-provoking questions with people. And then the last one, and we'll put this in with the replay, is called The Coaching Habit, which is asking versus telling. And I think as coaches, one of the biggest things we want to do is give answers and tell. But people really grow and develop and transform through self-discovery. And that is through asking questions. And we know that a big part of Optavia transformation is when somebody actually captures the vision beyond just changing their physical health, but also into potentially changing their healthy mind and also healthy finances, which means being very comfortable with bringing coaching up as a conversational conversation is something that we all want to strive for, to get comfortable with, because everybody is entitled to this opportunity of what's available to us, and we don't want our own hesitations to hold us back. So we've asked Shauna Davis to speak on that topic, because Shauna is great at building relationship and also easily turning into a coaching conversation.
Thank you, Dee. Well, I want to let you guys know this terrified me when I first started coaching. Absolutely terrified me. But I want to tell you, we're not in the get them or recruit them business. And I think that's where my mind was when I started coaching. And if you can get past that and understand you are just having a conversation, I think you'll be a lot more comfortable dripping coaching, and you'll sound a lot more natural. Now, I'm an example person. I picked Dee's brain and Lori's brain when I started coaching. Tell me exactly what you say. So I'm going to give you some examples of what I have found works for me. And I start dripping coaching right away on my interest call. Like that's the first place they're going to hear it from me. And it sounds something like this. So let's say I'm talking to somebody, and let's say her name's Mary, and Mary says to me, she starts talking about how she loses weight and she can't keep it off, and she gets so frustrated, and she just is in this rabbit hole of a cycle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? I was the same way, Mary. And I'm going to tell you, that's why I stepped into coaching, because I knew if I could help others, I could get control over that. And then I'm going to move on. It's just a slip in there, right? I didn't say anything really more than that. And then when I talk about, we get to the 4 components, and one of them is the coaching, and I'm going to start talking about my relationship with them. And so I might say, this is what my relationship is going to look like with you when we start coaching. I'm going to get on a phone call with you for the first 4 days, Mary, and then we're going to talk every week after that. And I want to let you know that I love making these calls as your coach, because you know why? I get to celebrate you with your wins. And when you're struggling, I get to sit with you in that, encourage you, and give you some tips. It's probably one of the most rewarding things that I do as a coach. And you hear how I'm just really subtly kind of telling them why I love to coach. I would have never done this in the beginning, but it's so easy when you're just doing it as a conversation. When I'm telling a prospective client on the interest call that it's not going to take long for their friends to start noticing they've lost weight, I'm going to encourage them. And I might say something like, and I want to encourage you when this starts happening, I would love for you to be open-minded about having a conversation with me, because I'm going to help you navigate that conversation with your friends. And, just think about, toss it around, what it would look like if you helped your friends. Now, did I say if you coached your friends? No, I said if you help your friends, and I'll help you do that. And so I'm just planting little tiny seeds. I don't really want to say you can coach your friends or I'll help you coach your friends, because I don't want to sound like I'm trying to push something off on them right away, but I'm going to continue to plant those little seeds with them. And then with each check-in call, and Lucy covered this masterfully, I'm going to listen for opportunities. I'm always listening for opportunities. And if something comes up, I might share something about coaching with them, but I don't talk about coaching on every single call, but I listen on every single call. And I promise you, if you listen, your clients are going to give you clues to whether they're either open-minded to coaching, and they might not even know it, but they're giving you clues that they are, or that they're looking for something more in their life. And what do we know? We know we can give them an opportunity so that they can have something more in their life. And then don't forget your tips and celebration calls. Be sure you're utilizing your coach mentorship for that. And if you're taking them to an experienced coach, they're going to be doing the same thing. They're going to be listening for clues, and they're going to be dripping coaching in a way that's not so intimidating. And then sometimes my instincts just tell me, go for it, right? And so either on a tips call or a check-in call, I might say something like, and listen, I got this from Lori. The first time Lori did this with me on a tips call, I was like, light bulb, that was brilliant. But she just so very casually said, I'm just going to go with my gut here and tell you, I think you'd make a great coach. Have you ever even thought about it? Has it ever crossed your mind? And they're usually really surprised, like, really? Me? I could do that? I'm seriously, they'll almost always do something like that. And then if you've listened for all of the qualities that they have, and you've heard them that would make them a great coach. And you can tell them, oh my gosh, you've got such a great smile and such an outgoing personality. People are just going to be attracted to you. When you tell your story, you've got such an amazing journey. So if you're listening, you can, always find something to encourage them. And then I want to say, don't forget about the Living Life Abundantly page. If you don't know about that, check with your mentor coach. It is a great tool to use if you've got somebody that is on the fence and has already expressed, okay, I'm kind of kicking around this idea. I would love it, but I'm not quite so sure. So talk to your coach if you don't know about that page on how to use it. Is everybody going to step into coaching? No. And that's okay. Is everybody that steps into coaching going to grow a business like you want them to? No. And that's okay too. But the ones that do, for every coach that steps in and grows a business and partners with you and links arms with you, all of those disappointments of the ones that didn't do anything, it's all going to be worth it, because you're just working through the ones that say no to get to the ones that are going to partner with you and be a great, part of your business. So that's what I got.
Love that, Shauna. That was great. Yeah. And we always know that sometimes, the initial reaction of no is usually a not yet. So many people say yes after multiple invites to coaching. So I'm loving the comments, you guys. So glad that this was practical. That's our goal, is to provide useful information for you that you can immediately put into place. And as with all our calls, as we're leaving, we really want to leave you with a challenge of really talking to 2 clients this week about coaching. So whether you're just incorporating something that you learn from this call, dig a little deeper, do whatever it takes, but let's talk to 2 clients about coaching this week. And that's what we've got. And really encourage all of us to hop over to the client community call. We've got Jamil Frazier. It's a focus on Father's Day, about true transformation. And he is probably the most masterful at building trust and rapport. So somebody great to learn from. So thanks, you guys. We'll see you during the week in the Facebook group, and we'll see you on next week's call. Bye.